Hey, welcome to Made for More. This is Aaron Burke. We release new content the first Wednesday of every month to help leaders, and I am here with one of the best leaders in the globe today. One of the people that, honestly, I wouldn't be where I am today without Dino Rizzo. And Dino, thank you for taking time. Radiant is the byproduct of you, of ARC, of Healing Place. I mean, just we're all better because of your life. So we're gonna have these leaders learn a little bit from you today and talk to you a little bit. But if you're watching this, hopefully you subscribe, share it. I try to respond to every DM, every message y'all send me. I love hearing it every month. So thanks for getting the word out. Dino, tell us a little bit about yourself. For those that are watching or listening, a little bit about your history, kind of what you've been doing and kind of what you do now at ARC.
Yeah, thanks, Pastor Aaron. You're a good man. I think the world of you and your wife and your team. You built a great team, great church, and I love that you got some Baton Rouge roots.
Oh,
baby.
I got those Cajun roots.
My wife is a Baton Rouge girl, and we planted a church in Baton Rouge. I worked there, did youth ministry, planted a church there. We're there 20 years.
Wow.
Had a heart to want to help other guys. Once you start like what you're doing,
right,
you want to help other guys do it. So jumped in with a group called ARC. So we've been helping plant churches. Moved to Birmingham 9 years ago. Get to work at a great church like this called Church of the Highlands. A lot of similarities. Multiple campuses trying to help people. And then get to be a part of leading ARC. And then, always in that servolution, outreach conversation. I was reached through outreach. So there was an outreach that happened. I was raised in Myrtle Beach. So there was an outreach that took place there. It impacted my life. Church like yours. Had an idea to go outside the walls of the church. Sometimes you wonder, does anybody get reached?
Right.
And it transformed my life. I was not going to church. There are some people that will never come to church. We have to make the first step.
Yes.
That happened to me. I came to Christ. So therefore, I just feel indebted to outreach and to be a part of those things. And so again, I'm thankful to be a part of this podcast.
You're called the Father Teresa. Man, I don't know who came up with that name.
Who knows? Who knows?
Servolution, I remember getting that book years ago. It really helped transform even the way we look at church. We do our monthly serve days here. Sure. We do our annual serve day.
Yeah.
I mean, we've made it part of who we are. So we appreciate your vision in that. Can I throw some random rapid fire questions at you just so people get to know you a little bit better? I think it's fun.
But it's going to make me nervous if you talk about CrossFit because I don't do any of those things. I don't look as good as you.
That is not the case.
So I mean, you're the Greek model here. You're the one that looks good.
But I appreciate
I'm the one that's struggling.
Well, if you're not watching on YouTube, you can come check us out. Let's talk about Louisiana food. Your favorite Cajun food?
Etouffee. Crawfish etouffee.
Gotta have it.
Yeah.
All right. Any Netflix shows that you're like, man, I like this?
I'm not a Netflix guy, but I'm a Waltons guy. I'm old school Waltons. I'm Andy Griffin. We go old school. Me and my wife watch Waltons every night.
No
and then
way.
In the afternoon, we'll watch a little Andy Griffin. So we're old as dirt. I mean, I am old. I planted a church. It was horse and buggy, man. We just brought it over the mountains and put that tent up and had a church. So that's my jam.
That's awesome. Okay. Are you a cereal guy?
All day long.
Okay. What's your favorite?
Peanut Butter Crunch, Cocoa Pebbles.
Peanut Butter Crunch.
I mix them a lot of times.
Got to.
A little chocolate peanut butter action.
I love it.
It's like a smoothie.
Nobody like you. All right, here's a question I ask. Kind of gets people to know you. If you had to eliminate a fast food restaurant off the planet Earth, like nobody would have to eat there again, you would be doing the planet a service by eliminating one. What would you eliminate?
I hate this. People watching this who love it or own it. It would be Jack's. I don't get Jack's.
Jack's, yeah.
Because it's like you could get chicken fingers,
right,
a taco, some sushi, and a latte. You can't make that much food at one location.
And you can't make it good.
Yeah, it's like what other place? Cheesecake Bistro. The menu's too big.
Oh, yeah.
It's a volume. You can't do that much food that good.
No, that is so true.
It'd be like a church trying to be good at everything.
At everything. No. Simplify the product.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk for a little bit about this thing that you're so passionate about, being a servant leader, kind of serving, the idea of getting outside of the walls. Kind of, why is this a passion for you?
Well, I was reached that way.
Yeah.
And probably the chapter I was reading it just earlier that's probably marked my life more than anything is John 13. I think it is one of the most phenomenal windows into the life of Christ, that with all the power, all the love, headed to the cross, knowing everything in front of him, that he takes a moment. He knows what's happening in the disciples' life, in their mind and their emotion.
Very good.
They're trying to figure out who's going to be the best, who's going to be the greatest.
Right.
A lot of egos in that room. and he takes a towel, takes a basin, stoops down, washes their feet. And basically, the last illustration, one of the last lessons he gives the disciples is on servanthood.
Wow.
That, hey, if you're gonna make an impact, if you're gonna move the ball down the field, you better learn to serve each other. And what term I heard years ago, stoop to greatness.
Stoop to greatness.
Stoop to greatness. And I think that's key in leadership. And I think it's how we make an impact in our community, is when we're able to go low and get down there in people's lives.
Now, that is a hard
through.
thing, because our tendency is you want people to serve us.
Yeah.
We want to feel better. We want everybody to. So how do you fight that world of making?
That's a human problem.
Yeah.
And so it's just not the life of Christ. Jesus was the servant of all servants. If we want to hear, well done, thou good and faithful servant. I think it's what makes a difference.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's impressed with elitism. Anybody's impressed with, I'm better than you. I think we're all tired of that.
Yes.
And I think what makes a difference is when you just decide that I'm going to love people, I'm going to love God, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to let people know that they matter to God. That they're not a number, they're a name. It's the whole thing. Every number has a name. Every name has a story. Every story matters to God.
Wow.
We are called to serve those stories.
Very good. Now, you, I'll say this in a really nice way. You're a big deal. And you've
call my wife. Not a big deal.
But you preached on some of the biggest stages in the world. You know some of the most famous people in at least Christianity. And I am shocked in how well you do at making the person in front of you the most important person. I mean, you're walking through hallways and loving on people. You show this model of servanthood, of just every person matters. It's not, you don't gravitate towards the biggest person in the room. You just, whoever's around you. How did you learn that? Where did that come from? Because that to me is honorable. Man, I mean, I'm a nobody in the world, and you make me think like I'm a big deal. So
you're a big deal.
Well, how did you get that in your culture?
Well, probably, first off, it's kind for you to say that. I don't feel that way most of the days, but I'm getting older. I think when you get older, you want things to be clarified for you.
Yes.
And you just realize that everybody's fragile. Everybody's got stuff going on in their life. Mm-hmm. And I think it's important that we lead into that. I think I've always probably been a good noticer. I try to notice what others don't notice.
Yeah.
I try to see what people are not seeing. I'm trying to hear what is not being said. And I think that's through my own mistakes of being arrogant, my own mistakes of thinking I was a big shot, my own mistakes of thinking I was important. God has a way of humbling you.
Yes.
And so I've been embarrassed. It's the story that Jesus says, don't just stroll up to the front,
right? Sit
up in that front seat. They make you move to the back. Take the lower seat, get invited up. And so I've strolled up and thought I was somebody.
Right.
And then when God humbles you, you realize, man, I should have walked in and realized that that's not what it's all about. It's not about those things. So, it's through your own journey, your own learning.
Yeah.
And I love, the end of the day, we're called to love people.
Yeah.
It's not about us. And we want to make people feel special. We want people when they walk in our church, they walk in children, they walk in college, they walk in a small group. I think what pleases the heart of God is when we say, man, we've been waiting on you.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, we've been waiting on you. Couldn't wait to see you.
It's
not the other way around. It's not like, oh, I bet y'all couldn't wait to see us.
Right.
No. That's not the kingdom. Couldn't wait to see you. Jesus would be going one direction, heading into Jerusalem, take a 90-degree and go over to the gate called Beautiful and reach the one crippled man.
Wow.
Heading in a direction, pause, and care for the blind.
Wow.
It's just the real deal.
That is so good.
It's the life
How
of
do you
Christ.
not get cynical as the years go on? Because your heart and love for people it reminds me of someone that just got out of Bible college. They're they're fresh in this thing and they're going, oh man,
this is awesome. Everything's awesome.
Oh, we're going to reach so many people. And then people get really hurt. I mean, there's business leaders that are going, yeah, I trusted the employee. I tried to serve them. I tried to make it about them. But people are mean. How have you protected yourself in that? Because you still have such a positive perspective on people when the world is filled with some crazies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you got to keep your innocence in ministry. I think you have it. I think I told somebody the other day, I said, Pastor Aaron looks like he really believes what he's preaching. He's living out the hope that I think you give out a lot of hope. I think one of the things here is we exist at Radiant to move people, to have a great relationship with God, move them from where they are to the life that God intends.
That's right.
That's why you're here.
Yep.
I think you believe that in just the way you communicate, speak. You do the same thing. But I think life is too short to be grouchy.
Yeah.
Life is too, nobody wants to be around you. Selfishness is not attracting. Throwing shade is not attracting.
No.
I want my kids to like me. I want my grandkids to like me. And I have a very simple exercise in the morning. I get up and read a very simple devotion. I read my Bible, and then I check myself with a very simple devotion. It's by Sarah Young. It's Jesus Calling.
Yep.
It's as simple as it gets, but it is fire to my soul.
That is so good.
Because it gives you the perspective of how amazing God is.
Right.
And how amazing the opportunity we have every day to make a difference.
Yep.
So it checks me. Every morning I read that Jesus Calling. It checks me. And then, I've read a lot of Mother Teresa. Mm-hmm. And that is good stuff for your soul.
Yes.
That was a lady that was powerful and could get down in the gutter with the homeless and the hurting. And I think that's attractional.
So there's probably leaders listening to this right now that's maybe a little convicted going, man, I've made this about me instead of making it about people. What are some practical ways that, man, they can maybe start living a life of servanthood, the way that Jesus washed the feet? I'm thinking probably really weird if they walk into their business and go, all right, guys, take off your shoes. Let's wash your feet. Yeah, that's kind of gotten weird.
The great scripture says, I've given you an example.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you don't need to touch my feet, but this is an idea.
Yeah, well, it's not a service to foot washing spirit.
Yes.
Yeah.
That needs to be
look
taught.
for the service. No. I need that spirit.
So what are some things that
I think awareness, being aware, noticing, keeping your head on swivel, walk slow.
Yep.
So if I'm running a company, I got to understand those dynamics. I remember we opened up our new building, so we were expanding it. You've been to some of those buildings. Mm-hmm. They're in Baton Rouge when I was pastoring Healing Place. And I remember thinking, man, the building's bigger. I'm on a bigger screen. The stage is huge.
Right.
We're growing like crazy. And I was trying to figure out, okay, how do I need to make this thing smaller. And I remember every Sunday for probably 6 months, I would get off stage and go straight to the parking lot.
Wow.
And just wave at people, because I didn't want to be seen as just the IMAG guy.
Right.
I wanted to be seen as someone who is in their own journey. I'm a dad. I'm a husband. So I think you have to figure out what are your intentional steps to keep it real.
Yep.
To keep it 100. To keep it authentic. To keep it genuine.
Yes.
That's got to be bored in your own soul.
Right.
Running a company, teaching a class, leading a church, being a part of a dream team, you've got to deal with that in your own soul, because Jesus did it.
Yes.
Jesus did it. Jesus did it. Jesus did it.
I think that's so good. And I think there's people hopefully being challenged by this idea that, man, we need to make sure that we are doing our best to be Jesus in this world, especially in this celebrity world of look at us, look who I am. And some of our biggest fault is that we believe some of the press. You just believe it and you're like, I don't know if I'm really that great.
No, that grows gray hair in a day. It's not true.
Yeah.
It's just not true. If I can't pause, if I can't lean into, if I can't hear, then I don't know I don't know if I'm going to be successful in anything. I had a great first pastor. I've told stories about him. He was hardcore.
Okay.
He was hardcore. But he taught me about servanthood. And when I wanted to preach, he gave me a vacuum.
Wow.
When I wanted to preach, he said, go take care of them 9, 10, 11-year-old boys in Sunday school. When I wanted to preach, he got me in prayer. He knew something about life and longevity. He knew that it wasn't about preaching, but if I didn't learn how to serve, I couldn't be a parent. If I didn't learn how to serve, my marriage wouldn't work. I could never be an entrepreneur. I could never open a company. I could never pastor. If I didn't learn the basics of it. I think the reason why Jesus' last illustration before the cross is the image of him washing feet because he knew those boys were going to have to take the gospel around the world.
Yeah.
And if they couldn't get along, if they couldn't do the small things,
Right.
if they couldn't stoop down
Yep.
and get used to a towel, then this gospel thing is not going to get off the ground. They're gonna eat themselves. They're gonna kill each other.
Absolutely.
And that was his antidote.
Yep.
Of that sickness of me, myself, and I. What about me? Egos and logos. We went through Katrina in Louisiana. The body of Christ came together. Mm-hmm. I saw the best of the church. It was because we said, no egos, no logos. What could we do for Jesus?
That is a game changer. All right, Dino, because I know we're going to respect your time, everybody else's time. So this message is obviously your life message is so crucial. I want to ask you one more question because you travel around the world. You're in contact with some of the best church and business leaders. You've been able to be around. What are some common factors? If you go, man, when I look at some of the people that are making some of the biggest impact in the world today, what would you say are some of those common factors that you say they all kind of have in mind?
That's a good question. And you see it more and more. I mean, you're pastoring a fantastic church. I get to be a part of a great church, Church of the Highlands with Pastor Chris Hodges. Get to be at a great church this weekend, Union Church. They've just put 2 churches together.
Great church.
Stephen Chandler, Jimmy Rollins. Headed to a good church this weekend in Indianapolis, Heartland Church. All of them different, all of them unique, a little different flavor. But normally, got to be leadership. That's an obvious. Organizational health. Everybody's working on organization. The organization has to be healthy.
Yes.
Got to figure out what that looks like. Got to build teams. Hey, span of care.
Very
People got
good.
to know you care about them.
Yep.
They can't come to church and not be cared for.
Yes.
Good preaching will not keep people if they're not cared for, if they don't feel loved.
Right.
I think a sense of I understand my community. I know the pain. I know the plight. I'm aware. I'm not aloof in my region. I know what's happening. I know what's going on. Most of them, kingdom security. Insecurity is not going well these days.
No, it's not.
Insecure leaders are not faring well.
Right.
So a security, and here's what God's wired me to do. I'm going to be faithful in my why behind the what, and I'm going to honor other people. Nobody's winning that's throwing shade at everybody.
That is so good.
Just honor people. Just God bless everybody. Everybody's going great. I'm going to stay in my lane.
Yep.
I'll be faithful. Build my team. Good theology is working right now.
Yep.
A spiritual passion. Small groups. I mean, my gosh, we just went through COVID. I mean, people need community.
They need it.
And a lot of times you can't find it in big gatherings.
Yep.
So can you make the church smaller?
So good.
I think good leaders are making the church smaller.
Yep.
And are making it more approachable to the community.
So
that's
good.
what I'm seeing is happening.
All right. Well, if you're watching this, you're listening to this. First of all, if you want to plant a church, you need to go and check out our churches.
Awesome.
I mean, association-related churches. I'm telling you, they trained me, and I went there and said, I don't want to know. I don't have a creative idea. Actually, my coach for ARC told me, he goes, Aaron, I don't want you to think of a creative idea till you get 1,000 people. I said, all right. And we got way past that, and I still don't have a creative idea. I just go with whatever everybody tells me to do. So let me tell you, they're the best. Dino, you're the best. I appreciate your wisdom. Thanks for pouring into leaders. If you're a leader, make sure you share this. Make sure you're sharing it with your teams. Thanks for letting me know how it's helping you guys. New content, first Wednesday of every month, made for more. Have a great day.